here, and yep. Okay. So, did you get a chance to work around with PowerShell, whatever we discussed?
I, yeah, I did something related, but yeah, I did not like I was ending up in error, and also I was not having that hold and all. But still, I understood some concepts and all. I learned
Okay.
about casting, how to cast. I mean to say, like integers and all. Like you can put a
Mm-hmm.
data set variable in front of it and to cast it. That I learned. So bits and pieces
Nice.
I did, but like I was not able to completely dive into it, and then like yeah, but
Mhm.
I did made
No
some
problem
little
at all.
more progress. Yeah,
That's really great. So yeah, let's start with event viewer. The progress that you made is good. So
yeah,
typecast and things like that will come into picture when you are trying to implement something, let's say a script or automate any task. When you're handling data itself, that's when that is going to come in handy with for you. But yeah, for now let's start with the event viewer. I'm not sure if you're able
yeah,
to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
yeah. I am able to see your screen. Yeah,
Before we get into event viewer, I need to teach you a couple commandlets. Uh, uh, After that, we must be able to, get whatever we want from event viewer. Okay. So I'm not sure if you've used it, but do you know get hyphen date?
get hyphen date. Yeah, it is an object, and then you can use the properties of it also.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put in a brackets and then use -1 or something like that. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. So get
yeah,
hyphen date actually gives you the current date time of whatever
yeah,
system you're logged in.
yeah,
So this is the current date time.
yeah,
When this will be useful is like the cases like event viewer, event logs, or application logs, or specific anything. If you want to troubleshoot, you want to look for a specific time or a specific time frame, right? That's when this will come in handy. So what you'll do is you'll specify a slider kind of thing. Let's say you want to specify a date after which you want logs, and then let's say you want a date before which you want some logs. Like in between that time frame, you'll ask your script or ask your partial to get the logs, from. So to get that, you'll
yeah,
have to use get hyphen date. Instead of, you can also use things like typically any application log or event viewer in itself should support this format. So first would be month, date, and then the year, and then the time. So you can either use this format, AM PM format, or you can even use the 24 clock format like 20 like this. Okay.
yeah.
The problem is using get hyphen date and things to look out for when you do stuff like this is some applications when you try to get things out of it, it basically will only take time. Whatever time you pass to it, it will only take it on UTC and things like that. It totally depends on the application you are trying to get the events from. But event viewer in itself will take your local time, does not want you to put anything in UTC. So in those cases, you'll be needed to convert your date time to UTC, and then request the logs to show whatever you want within that time. Okay, and then
Yeah.
let's say you want to add an hour, so you can do things like add days, hours, minutes, and so on. So typically, let's say let's add days. Add days is dot add days, and then whatever you add, it will add to itself. And in similar format, you can add hours minus 10 or plus 10, whatever you minus signifies the time you're reducing
Negative.
time,
Yeah,
like you're
you
going
reduce
in the past,
backward.
and if you put positive, you're going in the future. You can even add about 100 hours, does not matter. Okay,
Yeah,
and likewise you can do minutes. Okay, okay, that's pretty much it for get hyphen date. Basically, you'll change hours and minutes to whatever you want, and then pass it to the specific property called date or date filter or whatever that application supports. Okay. Okay. Before we get to event log itself, I want to teach you get hyphen help commandlet. Get hyphen help commandlet you can use before any of the commandlets you want. Let's say get hyphen event log. what it basically will show you is the let me take the cursor, the commandlet name, and these are the properties that the commandlets can take. And if you see log name, it's a string, right? So it is expecting a string. So for log name, you have to input something that should be in the format of string, and instance it should be long. This is integer, so it is
Integer.
actually integer. There are float, and I'm not sure if you're very good on the data types. Long is a type of integer. Okay,
Yeah.
instance id is actually the event id. The computer name is a string. Newest is integer. You'll probably give it in thousands or hundreds or single digits. And after, like I said, here you'll use get-date and then use after and before. If you see this, it actually expects date time. So you'll have to give a data type that is a date time. You can't just give whatever you want. You'll have to give it on the format it requires. Only then it will accept and it will process it. Okay, and then the
Mm.
username is string, index is an integer, and tree type. So this is a filter. So basically you can use this property called -nt type, and in this filter you can use about five of these things. So either the event log is an error type event log, or information or warning or things like that. Okay, also these things, the source and the log name, it changes based on each of the application you use. Each have people can even create their own log name, create their own source, and write event their own event IDs, things like that. And there are also inbuilt ones like VMware uses specific event codes, even a specific source and log names, and typically all the applications have their own specific codes they log. Okay, and okay, we've seen get -l. You'll also see what are all the get event
Yeah,
log properties. Yeah,
one doubt here, right?
yeah,
Like,
go on.
what is a named parameter and what is a, I mean to
Okay.
say,
Name
yeah,
means the name of the commandlet itself. Syntax is the syntax of the commandlet. Let's say I have a commandlet. What are all the properties? What are all the filters I can use on top of the commandlet? If I typically use get-event log, it should give me everything, but it is not ideal. If you, because when you're looking at event log, you're looking at specific events, or at least you're looking at a specific application at a specific source, things like that. So there is a these set of properties are there. You can use any and all combinations. You can just use one thing. You can just use double thing, or not use anything at all. Okay, it should still give all the event logs, but the syntax, whatever it signifies, is the parameters it will take. It supports. You can give any number of parameters, but only if it supports the parameters, it will work. If not, it will not work. Whatever data massage you want to do it manually. You can use PowerShell, of course, but you'll have to do it yourself. So any command itself will not process the information for you unless it takes these set of parameters. Okay.
yeah,
Um, okay. Okay. Let's go to get-event log and then get-member. Okay. Of course, log name application. Also, yeah, I forgot to specify this. So all the commandlets, there is a thing called the property, if that is a mandatory property or not. These are called parameters. If when they write this code, no, when Microsoft itself writes this get-event log, they'll write it as a function, and they'll specify that this specific parameter should be mandatory. That's when you get this prompt when you use get-event log, and it nothing, it asks me for a prompt asking the log name, right? It means that it is a mandated parameter. You'll have to specify it. There's no other go. Okay, other things it could be mandate, or you can, it's optional for you. You can specify it or not specify it. Okay, it's one of the things that you need to know when you're working on commandlets. Okay, so there's a hell of a lot of members here. Okay, or yeah. Okay, for each event it gave me parameters. Okay, this is not clear. This graph and event log. Okay, let's open the event here. Crack open the event here itself, and then we'll take a look on one of the events. We'll try to work around it, massage it with whatever we can, and then proceed further. Just let me open the event viewer itself. Okay, guys, here. Okay, did it come? One, getting it froze for. Okay, give it a sec. Event viewer just froze for me.
No, no.
Okay, while we are at it, do you have any questions on whatever we've seen at this point of time?
No, not yet, Chris.
Not. That's a problem with event here. It's like even no matter how many iterations of Windows comes, I'm not sure if they even do any sort of upgrades or any sort of patches or things like that to event here itself.
Yeah.
Not just the UI, the performance of it is very bad, even on a newer systems. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So this is one of the event, right? So typically a event, if you take a look, it will be structured like this. So these are the Windows logs. So this is the log name which we specified. So log names are typically in all the Windows systems. These five will be there: application, security, setup, system, and forwarded events. In addition to these, your applications itself, also these will be the Windows PowerShell, Visual Studio, things like this. But these are the default ones. Any application team, anyone with access to the system can, if they have the administrative privileges, they can create their own source, create their own something like application. They can create something like application A under this application and service logs, or under Windows logs, and they can have their own set of log names, sources, their own set of event IDs. So these IDs are not like if event ID is present in Windows partial, it should not be in application log. Nothing like that. They can the only thing is, if it's within Windows partial, the event ID should not mess with each other. But other logs, it does not matter, because you're going into an entirely different log name and source and things like that. Okay, just make sure this is one of the things you have to remember. Let's go to an application log, and if you look at the details, usually there is a friendly view and there is an XML view. This XML view, you can totally export it in the XML view itself, and then create an XML doc and save it and input it and see whenever it's needed, or however we see fit. And let's take a look of this in the PowerShell itself. Okay, so I'll pick the event ID. So also, if you see the log name and source, everything is mentioned here. Let's go to the command line. Yeah, okay. So log name is application. Yeah, if you are looking for a remote computer, if you're trying to connect it to a different computer and get event logs from a remote computer, it's totally doable with the inbuilt command itself. You don't have to use invoke fn command and things like that. Basically, you can use the computer name. If it's just a computer name, you'll use something like this. And if it is a set of computer names, what you should do is this: server 1, server 2, and server 3. So basically, whatever command I use here, it'll get the logs from all these three servers. Okay, not just one.
Yeah.
If you mention nothing, it will get it from the current
Local.
machine. Yep. So yeah, we don't. Okay, we'll go for the newest. Okay, because
Yeah.
we know that's the newest guy. Okay, we got him. So basically, you can use select star to get all the properties. So this message, typically, if you're looking at event log or event viewer, things you want to do is look at a specific event. It could look at a specific event ID. So in this case, the ID, the list ID is this. And in this ID, and then you'll get the source name. So this will be the source computer name, and then the message itself. Also the entity type, if it's an error or an information. So basically information type of events, nobody will care much, because it is just to give you an info on what happened or what happens. If it's an error, people will look mostly at it, and also the message will give you a description of what the error is. Sometimes the message itself will tell you what to do and what's wrong. At times it does not. It totally depends on what application it is and how it is configured to log these events and things like that. Okay. Mhm. So let's do this. Event log application. Okay. What happens if I specify nothing, right? It will keep on giving all the events in the entire event viewer. Okay. It will go forever and ever. So I would not recommend anything without a filter. Like use at least an event ID, or use at least what do you say it, a before and after date, so that you can restrict the content that you get. This typically depends on, oh my god, I need to stop it.
Yeah.
Typically depends on the computer that you have, and what the event log itself, event viewer itself has its own settings. So you can actually specify or change the event log settings itself, like for how long the event viewer should hold the contents, the retention period, and things like that. Yeah, let me show you that as well. Just give me a sec. Yeah, but hyphen. Okay, for that, oh my god, I'm typing. Okay. Limit hyphen event log will give you the limits. Okay, limits of whatever limits is basically the what configuration you have on what log. Okay. uh, Come on, man. Jesus. This is also a destructive commandlet. Like, let's say if I set something in this limit hyphen event log, it is like a set commandlet. It will mess with the uh, settings of the event viewer itself. You can also clear event viewer with, okay, I'll show you that. For that, I want to show you the members. Come on, man, what the heck? This. Okay, looks like it does not support. Okay, we can, yeah, alternatively do this. Limit hyphen event log. Okay, basically this is what it takes. Okay, the computer name, of course, the retention days is what I told. Like typically, if you mention 10 days, it will only retain about 10 days worth of events. Anything that crosses that 10-day period, it will get purged, and you cannot recover that. And the overflow action is what happens if you'll actually set a specific size for each of the event logs. It can vary from, I think, around 60 KB or 64 KB till somewhere around gigs. I think 2 or 4 gigs, not sure. It will change with each Windows version that you have. And what happens if the log that applications write cross that threshold? Let's say 2 gigs. Okay,
Yeah.
that you can specify here the overflow action. Overwrite older, overwrite as needed, do not overwrite. Do not overwrite typically will not write anything new. Overwrite older will override one at a time, like the oldest event, whichever is present, it will overwrite that. Overwrite as
Okay.
needed, you will specify a date before which whatever event is present, it will get overwritten. Okay, this maximum size is actually the parameter that we spoke about, that I spoke just now. You can set it, I think, somewhere around KBs to about 2 or 4 gigs, and once it changes, that's when this overflow property kicks in, whatever parameter you set there. And yeah, those are the things. And also clear hyphen event log. Do not do this. No matter what,
Yeah,
I would not recommend this. It will
it will
completely
wipe
purge
off the
whatever
complete.
you
Yeah,
yeah, completely purge thing. So I would not recommend using this as well. But it is good
yeah,
to know things like these. Yeah. You can also let's say you configure you wrote your own script. Okay, you want to write any new events, you can use new event log, and then you can specify any inbuilt sources and log names, or you can create a new source and log name. To create a new source or log name, you'll have to use new hyphen event, and then yeah, right. Actually, new hyphen event log will create a new source and log name if you specify. And actually, write hyphen event log is the commandlet for you to write anything. If you created a new source, you can write anything to that source with whatever event ID you want. You can also use any predefined sources and event IDs. But yeah, this is totally doable as well. It'll be very helpful if you're writing your own scripts and things like that. Okay, cover this. Okay, okay. Let's say there is an application team. Okay, they have a specific log name. Their log name is system, or let's say application. They are looking at specific events between 10 and 11 today. Yeah. Let's see how to get those. Get an event log, and the source is application. Come on, it's actually log name is application, and then okay, let's use before would most probably be the current time if you're looking from this specific time to past time. But since this is not we have to look 10 and 11 a.m. Today, or whatever day it is. Add not days, you'll have to add hours. Mm, what's the time actually now? It's 10:23. So yeah, about 11, 11, what will do? 11:33, 11:30. Okay, 11.5. So typically 11.5 hours should give you 11 a.m. After this should be something like 10 a.m. Dot add hours minus 12.5. Okay, you see the logic behind this, right? I'm typically going back in time. So if minus 12.5 hours gives me 10 a.m., minus 11.5 hours should give me 11 a.m. Okay, 10 and 11. You see the logic here, right?
yeah,
Okay. This is very, very important. If you do not know, do not understand, let me know. I can totally help you out. But this is one of the logics that you should understand because you should implement this later. This is one of the basic things that you need to know.
yeah,
Okay, got it. Okay, nice. So, and after, okay, there's actually nothing there. Uh, even if nothing, that's no worries. What I'll do
yeah.
is just increase, but that's how you specifically look at event logs that belong within that time frame. Okay. And let's say I want to export things out, I can use export CSV. I can export most probably you'll use CSV if you're looking at certain events alone. But if you need additional information about events, additional information about the event itself, use export XML, and then whatever name you give, just use the extension .xml. XML is it'll look typically like JSON. I'm not sure if you know JSON, but whatever view we add on the event viewer itself is what it will look like. Okay,
Yeah.
it's better to know those. Okay. Okay. Let's say we are looking at about 2 days worth of logs. Some application team is asking you or telling you that they have intermittent issues. Intermittent issues are always a nightmare. So it can happen anytime within about a day, a 2 day. It could, like, could have happened about 10 times within the past year. So when things like that happen, they'll typically ask you to look at about 2 days worth of logs, and it's really not very um ideal approach to look at the event you are manually. It is very useful if you are using PowerShell. Okay. So
Yeah.
before, now, and after. So let's take a look. Okay. This is 24 hours worth of event logs, but this does not help us as well, right? Because everything is a lot of information. So how do you make sense of it? Okay. If you do not know the specific event ID, but you know the log name or the source name, do this group hyphen object. Okay, instead of this group hyphen object, you can use a parameter actually. Okay, let me do this. Select star and let hyphen first one. Okay. So we'll group items based on their event ID. Okay. So let's say we have about 24 hours worth of logs, and then
Yeah.
what we need to use is group hyphen object is a partial commandlet. What it will do is group any sort of information on one specific parameter or two
Yeah.
parameters. It can group it based on a number of parameters. So here what I'm going to use is the property called event ID. What it will do is it will give you statistics, group statistics. So once you do this, you'll so earlier it was very difficult, right? So now
Yeah.
you know there is about nine count of event logs for the event ID 16384. Name is the property name that you use. So do not get confused. It's just name. Name is the property that you use, which is event ID. So event ID, this ID has nine events, this ID has 33 events, and so on. So if you want to take a look on what each thing means, you can also use select hyphen first one and then FL select hyphen expand. So expand property will typically expand whatever is present on any specific parameter. So let's expand group because we know group has much more data, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. So this is the group. So there's about nine events, right? You can actually see all the nine events. So what you can do is if you're looking at any events that has more than 10 instances, you can typically get all the group IDs and get all the events, group them based on event IDs, and do a if condition or a statement where it checks for a count. And if the count is greater than a specific threshold, let's say 10, you'll group them, will then pass it. You can create your own data type and export each type of event IDs to one single CSV or everything in one CSV and add do things like that. And whatever data massaging you want to do, you can do that. That goes a little complex, but to look at simple things, that's how you use. So here I used select type in first one instead of the event ID, right? But what if I'm looking for a specific event ID? I can use verify an object, and then within the filter dollar underscore dot event, no, not event ID. Here it's name because we have grouped it. The property in itself is called name and not event ID. So we'll have to filter it with name. Okay. And let's say where name is, let's take a look on the events. So 12 to double eight to double eight. Okay, you get just this group, and then you can later expand the group and take a look yourself. Oh, that's a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
because there's about 33 events, that's why there's a lot. But you can, let's see if there's any other properties there. You can explore that. So that's just value count and group. Nice. Okay, so we did that. We did this. Okay, let's say we uh, what if you are to look at any property, let's say even the name property, it's not true here, but if any property has something like event space here, or let's say my application name is my application one, and you're looking for a specific property that matches with this, if it contains spaces it will not exactly match it, so you'll have to use them within quotes, and that should work. If you do not use quotes, it will almost entirely give you an error. And yeah, it's good that you know this. Yeah. What else can we do within the event here? Group with event IDs. Okay, let's say, okay, we got all the event IDs 12.288, right? If you want to export it, I'll actually show you both the CSV and the type. See, this is desktop 12.288.csv, and make sure you use no type information. If not, you'll get garbage information alongside whatever information you have. So I'm exporting both CSV and XML. We'll see what the differences are in each. Okay.
Yeah.
XML dot XML. Oh boy, we did a mistake. Do you see what mistake we did or I did?
Export.
What will happen if I do this? Okay, no problem. So if you see, what I've done is grouped it and then basically provided a filter where it will check for a specific event ID. But as you know, if we only do things like this, we'll only get the count, the name, and the group, and will not get a lot of information. And we do not want anything like that. It is basically nothing we could use. Okay. So for
Yeah.
that, what we will need to do is select type an object.
Select object.
Mhm. And then the parameters that we want. So yeah, of course you can use name, count as it is. I want to teach you something else here. So whatever property you get, you can actually rename the property header. Let's say the event ID itself, if you want to call it a different thing, you can call anything and just have the data. So to do that, what you'll do is this: add the rate, and then you use curly braces, and then it's called label, and then expression. If you use label expression, what it will do is, after select type an object, label is your custom defined label. You can call anything here. Let's say Praveen event ID. Okay, it'll basically typically just change the column name to Praveen event ID, and the expression is where you do what modifications you want to do, or take whatever parameter you want. So we know the event ID is under the parameter name, so we'll take name as the expression, and then the label is your name, or whatever label we want. Okay, and
Yeah.
then so we selected the first property. Now we want the count itself. Count we can use as it is. So I'm just writing count. And later we also we when we looked at the group, we actually used to select as an expand property. Do you recall that?
Yes.
To take a look. So what we will do is use the same format. Label. Label is the group contents. Expression is um, so how do I do it? Dollar underscore dot group. No. That's not how we do it. We want to expand. Just give me a second. Okay, come back. Let's see what happens now. Okay, even before we export things, we can just take a look on what happens. Okay, no contents. This thing did not work. Dot str group. Let's try and evaluate it. So we can use things like value. Value. Let's see if it does not do that. Let's see if there is any other way to extend properties. Or you can, let's go old style. Just get this guy. We'll just evaluate the entire thing.
Yeah.
Here, what have I done? I think I placed it twice. Shit. No problem. Let's. Okay. What I'll do is the same thing. Get hyphen event log. This is where things get complex. If you want to handle data, you'll have to use your own logic, and that is going to take time. Okay, for you to get
Yes.
good on what specific, because one set of tools that you use on one specific tool is not going to be very useful on other things. So it will always be an issue, but yeah, it is like the more you practice, the more you get versed on this. Just get group hyphen object hyphen property event ID. And then where dot underscore dot name, like what's the event 12 to double it. Now okay, now we can use select hyphen expand property group. Okay, see if we got the syntax right. Expression, let's just test. Okay, see if things work. Damn. Okay, it is there. Actually, we'll have to export it to know what export CSV slash desktop set 12 to 88.csv and node type information. Okay, let's take a look on the CSV itself. Desktop 12 to. So this file accessing, like changing directory, getting relative path, things like that, you're fine, right? So what I
Yeah. Yeah.
did is I'm under this path, C users admin. So I'm getting the relative path. I'm getting to desktop and then the file itself. So if I do
Yeah.
this, select contents. Come on. So, okay. Let's use XML and see how it works. Yep. Desktop. We'll do XML. Okay, let's take a look on the XML. Desktop. Board iPhone. Okay, there's no command left, is it? It's okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Got it. So you see here, this is how you actually, come on, man. Okay. We'll look at the things later. Okay. Before that, I want to tell you one more thing. Oh my God, I already forgot what I wanted to teach you. XML, what of this, that, explain property, the covered group. Okay. Also, you said something about event viewer itself. You told you had a specific issue with the event viewer, right? So what we will do is we will take a look on that, and then I'll give you a task to do, just a practice task, and let's see how it goes. Okay,
Yeah.
Praveen.
Yeah. I'm here. Yes, Chris, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Tell me what the issue you had with the you told about you had some issue with the event viewer itself. You were trying to do something, and things didn't work out, or what exactly were you looking for
No.
when you
I
had
think it
some
was
issue?
like a named parameter and the compulsory parameter. I was not able to. I think now I got it clear. Why? Because like once you're giving event viewer and then you need to give a application name. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you see this? This is what I forgot, and I got it. Okay. If you are looking for any properties with the space within them, when you expand them, use this dollar underscore, and instead of dot, you just put everything within quotes, and it will actually expand everything. So we had about 33 events. I'm not sure if you recall.
Yeah.
We have all 33 events here, so you can just export things like how we did with export hyphen is that thing. This is the command that we use. We export FNCLI XML and then give it in an
Yeah.
XML and then use what we want and later, use it. Basically, if you're on incident management, you'll probably just give it to the application team. And yeah, this would be useful there. So for the practical task that I want you to do today is I want to give you something myself. So when you were earlier looking on the event, do you know where, which specific log or which specific source you were looking at?
I think it was the application itself.
Okay.
So
So
sorry,
what I want you
you're
to,
asking me a question. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yes,
right now in this class or prior to
no, no,
this?
earlier when you were taking a look at the event viewer and where you thought this would be better if you used partial, that's what I want.
Yeah, like when like I like if suppose somebody was telling me to find out why the system has crashed. So like
Mm-hmm.
instead of yeah, so now like at a once we can get around 100 lines and then we'll go through like that. But instead of that thing, right,
Okay.
we used to go manually looking for that specific error.
Yeah,
Well, because only like
complete.
we will be having a small window and then where you need to go one by one, and one by one
Mm-hmm.
based upon yeah
Yeah,
trial
this is
hit
going
and
to
miss error. Yeah,
help you there. Okay, the log name that you're looking for is system itself. System will show you when, if, and when someone reboots or shuts down a system. It could be a
yeah,
patch, it could be the application itself, or a user via any application or just hitting shutdown. Everything will get logged within the log name called security. Sorry,
yeah.
system. Security will show up if someone logs in. So okay, system. So what I want you to do is share your screen. I want you to okay. Let's pick March. What's the date? Okay, let's pick March
28.
26. Let's pick March 26 between the time 12 to 5 a.m. I want you to get all the guys who logged in. Like try and look for find the event ID which signifies a user login. Use the tools that we use today. Just get to the log, use the specific time, and then group them by whatever parameter you want, and take a look and see if you can identify that. Okay, that you can do that.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, share your screen and yeah, proceed. I'll make you a presenter first. Yeah, one second.
Yeah. Yeah, you're able to view my screen, right?
Yep, I can.
So what I'll do is first I'll say get event log, log name, log in name is security, right? You are telling is
Mm-hmm.
security or see security
System. It's system, not
system.
security.
Okay. SYSTEAM system, and then I'll say okay, get system, and then we need to know what all the things we need. So we'll just say get member, member, yeah, to find out what are the properties what
Yep,
we are looking, right?
yep, yep.
So
Complete.
get member, and then we'll pipe it to more. So we'll come to know a few of them. So okay, so yes,
The problem
so
with this is
yeah,
because each log will have its own source. Like there are a lot of sources within the
yeah,
log. You'll see this for each of the source.
yeah. So what I'll do, I'll after this thing, what I'll do, I'll just say um select object, yeah,
Hmm.
select select obj object, and then I'll say select object, what are the things, and we'll say name,
Okay.
event name is there or not, I'm not sure. Name,
Alternatively, what you can do is select the first object and get all the
yeah,
parameters and
yeah,
see
yeah.
what are the things you
So
want.
so I'll say FL, right? First,
No, no. Select hyphen object and then hyphen first,
okay,
no spaces.
yeah.
Hyphen first is yeah,
And then
switch.
first 10, if we do, we'll come to know
Just
what
give
are
a
the things
one,
are there.
not
Yeah,
10. One is useful if there is a lot of properties and not just five. Yeah.
yeah,
And then do a FL or a select star. Whatever gives you right amount of information. It totally depends.
yeah.
After
So select,
selection object, first one do an FL or select star.
okay, so FL
FL
if I
typically means full list. Yeah.
full list and then star if I have to give, right? So
For
this will
FL, you
be,
don't have to give stars. For select, you have to. FL just typically give you everything. That's what FL means. But select means you're selecting specific things. Only if
okay.
you give the wildcard star, it will get
See,
everything.
select star if I give it, I'll get the whole thing. Okay, I got you now.
Yep.
Yeah. So now what I have to do is get select. So really select. No, I need to say um, what all I want to select it from here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So where I'll say where. mm, Yeah. So I think so.
No problem. Or do one thing. We'll just switch the activity a little different. Go to event
Yeah.
viewer manually. Let's just go to the application called event viewer. Do you recall when you logged in? Today or yesterday or whenever you logged in?
Yeah, yeah, this is my this thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my this are the
Go to Windows, System,
security. Okay, system.
System.
Yeah,
Take a look on when you logged in, and what we'll do is we'll try and get it by a partial. Okay, that'll be a
yeah,
little more simple activity.
yeah.
But do you recall at what time you did it? Because we can totally
Today
just get
today morning 8 o'clock I did it, I think.
somewhere around 8. Okay,
Yeah,
further down, further down. Use the scroll bar and pull it a little, or use page down. It'll be faster.
so this is right. Yeah, I think here
Yeah, this
here
is yeah somewhere around 8.
8 o'clock.
Take a look.
Colonel,
Uh-huh. Come down. It's not look like login events. Come down, come down. Service control manager, 2037. Come down. Was it switched on the entire weekend?
No. Today early morning I switched on around. This
Okay,
is the
okay,
time I think. Event IDs.
okay.
Yeah.
This is one of the login event IDs, but you'll see the logon itself. You'll also
Yeah.
see something related to the shutdown. But yeah, you can further down. If you don't get anything, we can get to this. But yeah, let's take a
Yeah.
look.
So this is 736. I don't think so. This is the one. So
Windows
kernel
logon. Just go up. Just go up. I think I said win logon. The event source. You see that, right? Win logon.
win
When
logon. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
This is the one.
select that.
Yeah.
There's a logon notification for customer experience. You can go further down. There can be more than one win logon events. Uh, So we are actually booting it up somewhere around 7:30. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Check the
Yeah.
first
This is
event at 7:36 and go up. Yep.
736. This is the time where I
Uh,
switched on the system, I think.
okay, go up. It actually synced, but we'll actually see a event. Let's see if we can identify it with the event viewer itself. The
Win
other
logon.
win logon. Yeah, select that. Damn. Okay, or at least this is what it'll look like. You'll have to dig deeper to see where exactly you logged in. But
Yeah.
what it will do is on any given server, will show you this user as logged in at this time, and this user initiated a shutdown at this time. Since these are destructive events, people
Yeah.
will make sure that a proper GPUs are set up that logs these kind of events. So even if it's disabled on your system itself, it should be there on the servers and you can use it. So for now, what we'll do is we'll use the source called winlogon. When you filter it, use the
Yeah.
source and do winlogon,
Yeah.
and then we'll take a look on the event logs on the PowerShell.
Yeah. So what I'll do now? So you need to help me, Chris, but now.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Use the commandlet where-object.
Oh, okay.
When you're filtering, it's where-object. When you're selecting, it's select-object.
Yeah.
Okay,
Where hyphen object. So now where
and
what
then
yeah.
now space within curlies. If you're filtering, you'll have to use the curlies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you want to do? You want to do is the source itself. So what you do is $_dot and then source.
Source. Yeah.
Okay. What should it
I'll,
look like? So we
it
know
should
it's
like
WinLogon. So just
yeah.
copy it or yeah, type it out.
Yeah. Like win log, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
WinLogon.
Win log on. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
this is
Now
came
press enter.
and yeah, press enter here.
Mm-hmm.
So it will take all the properties. I think we need to break
Mm-hmm.
this.
All the WinLogon. We'll break it further, but let's take a look first. Yeah.
Yeah, so it did not.
It's because it's case sensitive. Just copy it everything whatever you see there and paste it here.
Okay.
Sometimes things like this will come into play. So you'll have to make sure that there is no typos and if it's case sensitive or not. Things
Yeah.
like that will hurt you a lot in the long run. But
So yeah, I'll say more or re- like that.
yeah. Let's see if there's any events at all.
No.
Actually, there's no. Okay, what we'll do is go to the source, go to the event viewer. I'll tell you. No,
Yeah.
to the event viewer itself, the GUI. Yeah.
Yeah.
So copy the log name is system. Copy the source. No. Below, if you see the event ID itself, event
This one.
7001. No.
Okay,
Select
7001.
the WinLogon event and come further down. No, do not select anything. Just your mouse down.
Okay.
Bring your
Okay.
mouse down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Select
Yeah.
Windows logon and bring your
Yeah.
mouse down. No.
Okay. Down here.
See this? Yeah. Down here, I want you to copy the source or the event ID. That's how I
Oh,
want you
okay.
to do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this one, right? Source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just change the source.
Yeah.
Now try it. So when things go like this, I want you to go to wherever you found the event ID or
Yeah.
the source. I want you to copy it and use it, because if it's case sensitive, it's pretty much the only way that you can proceed.
Okay. No.
Okay. Oh damn. What the? Okay. Do
So I
this.
think some
Get if and even log. Do not use any log name. Just use the source and things like that.
log name I should not use it.
Do not use it. Just remove everything. Hyphen log name system. Just remove it.
Yeah.
That could also be yeah. Now press enter. I'm thinking there's some sort of a filter that only
Yeah.
shows.
Supply
Uh,
name. It will compulsory. It will give you
Now
the
use
supply name.
system or start.
STM system.
Uh,
Enter.
yeah, enter. So we know the log name system works. There's something wrong with the source, something wrong with the filter. Okay, no problem. Let
Yeah.
me just use the same
I
thing
think
on
it is
my
a
machine.
source name. I think something is there. Source
Uh-huh.
dollar name. So what it is giving. So now here get event log and log name log event log log and name. Shit. Get event log. Yeah, log name is log name is system. SYSTEM system. So now we have got system. So this will get all those things. Now we are selecting. So where hyphen object. Yeah, where hyphen object is. So this will bring all these things here. So dollar underscore and now we'll say source. Yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
is the value,
Yep.
right? Source.
Mm-hmm.
So dot source. Source.
You made a type.
Yeah, source. Yeah. So I'll
There's a
say
typo.
source, right? Am I right?
Yeah, it's right.
Source, I'll say like,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Like, and then it is double quotes because it is a
Mm-hmm.
string. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a
Yep.
string. And now if I say when, yeah, that should fetch me, right?
Yep. It should. Hit enter. Yeah, okay.
No, it is.
Do one thing. Use a different filter instead of source. I think there's a some sort of
Okay,
limitation
so
there. Use the
we'll
event
say
ID itself.
event ID I'll
Event ID.
provide. So event ID,
Pick 98 for now, and then we'll
yeah,
later take
is
whatever you want.
equal to, because this is a numeric, I don't want, we can give it in without the codes, right?
Yep.
98. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Am I putting a wrong curly braces? No. Okay, so 98 it is coming now. Yeah.
Just wait for it and see how long it goes. Okay, it actually typically goes till March 18th.
Okay.
Okay. The
So
main log
okay,
and events.
what we can
Yes.
do, we can just give measure, right? SURE measure,
Measure
measure.
will just give you a count, a
Okay.
measure of how many,
It
how
it will
much
give
is the
you me
mean,
the
the
number of the
average, the
count.
count,
Yeah,
things
no,
like
no, it
that.
will
Yep.
give you the number of the counts of the lines, right? So we'll come to know how many lines it may return. Can't I do that?
Or alternatively, for if you just are looking
What?
for count, yeah, measure if an object is very good. But if you're looking at any averages and means and things like that, just count what you do, enclose anything within brackets, and put dot count.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
So
keep the
yeah,
curly
this is like
braces,
that.
enclose
Yeah.
everything within brackets,
So I'll put this thing like that, right?
enclose everything, the entire commandlet. No, not here,
Okay.
the entire
Okay. Okay.
commandlet.
From here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Enter.
Yep. Wait a minute. You'll have to actually no. Instead of where, you'll have to put it before get-even log. Enclose everything, not just where.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now hit enter.
So like instead of running it, right, we can come to know how many lines it may retain. Also, it is returning
Mm-hmm.
around 6,000 lines,
6,000 entries. Yeah.
right? So now
There
we
could
can
be a
bring,
lot. Yeah.
yeah. So now once this is returning, so what we
Uh-huh.
can do? So now we can say um, before, right? Or no?
Yep. Before and after. But what you'll have to do, use where-if an object again.
Okay. So
Use
again, pipe
filter.
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pipe it.
Where hyphen object, and then again I'll use this. Sorry, not this one. Yeah, and dollar minus it will be date, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Date. How do I take the date for today here?
Get-date.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can use a variable like how we used yesterday,
Yeah.
and save get-date within that, and also get a new date, add some hours, and use before and after like that.
So
Think
before
you can
that
do
thing,
that?
I need to give the we need to like meant to say, what do you say? We need to uh, explain that variable, right, before this command then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you'll
So
do is let me
I need
type
to
it out.
control X. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll
So
say before,
before
right,
the
something like that.
mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I'll say dollar before, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
before, and
Equals.
equals is again like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get hyphen date.
Get-date. If you want to add
Yeah,
us, you can add us,
yeah, dot.
but you can.
Yeah, sorry. What do you?
For before, keep it as it is.
Yeah.
For after, add about 10 hours or 20 hours.
So I leave it like that before get hyphen date like that.
Get-date. Yeah. Yeah. Now hit
This way,
enter.
right?
No, you don't have to give the brackets. Remove the brackets.
Okay. Enter, right?
Now hit enter.
Yeah, and then one more I have to give.
Dollar
Uh,
after, and then
yeah, after is equal to. Sorry, Chris, I'm.
no, no,
Yeah,
no problem at all. I know
yeah.
you're starting out, so
Add hours. So
see, it
this
does
is,
not work for you because you'll have to first enclose it within brackets
yeah.
and then do dot
Okay.
add as.
Yeah. Get d8. Am I right? No.
Yep. Yep, you're right.
Dot dot.
No, not
Uh,
dot inside. You'll have to use dot outside the thing. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Dot add
Mhm.
hours. Add date, right? Or
Add as. No, no, add as. Can add about 24 hours. Minus
yeah,
24 will give you minus
minus
24.
20.
Plus 24, it'll go to the future
Yeah.
date. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Now it
I'll
enter.
come down. Yeah. So now I'll use this command.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the dot now where if an object.
Yeah. Select where hyphen object and
Instead of pound, you'll have to use dollar. Dollar
yeah,
underscore.
dollar underscore Date and
dot and then date. So when you're calling something
yeah,
out, use
yeah,
dot inside where.
yeah, date.
Yeah, you're right, date. Okay,
Yeah,
space.
space, and then
So
it
usually if
was,
it's string or integers, you can use equals or things like that. Because it
yeah,
is time, you'll use something like is or greater than or equal to or less than equal to, because time, right? To relative
yeah,
time, is it greater than this time or less than this time? So less than equal or do this greater than or equal to G and then tab. Type G hyphen G and then tab.
J,
Yeah,
yeah,
greater than equal to is hyphen G. Now it's after dollar
yeah,
after.
yeah.
Now hit enter. Okay, basically either you add nothing after that time or change the after to some under dash and then do the command lit again.
Okay,
Or
so
wait. Before you do verify an object, I want you get if an event log until event ID equals 28 and then select just the first one and let's see what's the property. No, we selected date, but it could be something else. Okay, that's why
so I
we are.
should, yeah, I should
Instead of
remove this.
verify an object, select hyphen first one. Yeah. Instead of verify an object, select hyphen first one.
Yeah.
Hyphen first one.
Okay, sorry.
Hyphen F tab.
Okay.
Now space one. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wow, it takes its own
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So it is
So
giving
we have March 28, 1834. It's
1834.
actually time and not date. That's why we didn't get anything. Uh, press
Mm.
up twice and instead of dollar underscore dot date, change it to dollar underscore dot time. No, not yet, not yet, not yet. Do nothing. You don't have to do anything yet. Just
Okay.
it control C or go up arrow twice. Again, yeah. Now instead of dollar underscore dot date, change it to time. You see why I'm changing that?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because
Got
it's
it.
actually under the header called time.
So, so only time or
Time and hit enter. Go all the way right and hit enter. Now it should give us
no?
time is greater than two.
So it is 1639. So I think it is.
Yeah, it is time. But
Yeah.
yeah, we might have. Okay, I want you to just execute the command that I typed on chat. Do you have any other calls now?
No. No. No calls.
Okay, I actually
Yeah.
found the shutdown events. So I was looking for login events, but I got the shutdown events. I just want you to paste it and see if you're able to see what I did there. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is this? 1 second. I'm not able to see your.
Go all the way up. You'll see. Not able to see it.
Yeah. This one, right?
Yep. Just copy it and paste it. I can't see your chat, but once you copy it and paste it on PowerShell, I'll be able to see.
See this? It is coming. Yeah.
See.
Yeah. So get
If
hyphen
if
name.
you expand it, you'll exactly see when it shut down. Similarly, you
Yeah.
can look for specific message called login or log on,
Yeah.
something like that, and you should be
Chris,
able to.
what we'll do? I think
Mhm.
I will need some time to practice this. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you'll need.
Yeah. So
Take
I
your time.
will what we can do, we can stop this lecture today, Chris, okay? And then what I'll
Okay.
do, I'll try to get some, like, I'll try to digest all this. So because
Okay,
like
sure.
yeah, I don't want to waste your time as well. Because for you it
Okay,
may be
okay.
very
I
late.
completely
So
understand. Yeah,
yeah,
take your time.
yeah.
Okay, Praveen. We'll see
Okay.
tomorrow's. Tomorrow, what
See,
we'll
see,
do is logs and then network-based commandlets, and then optional session is on Wednesday. Let's see how it goes and see how
yeah,
take things further. Okay,
yeah,
stop the recording and let's
yeah.
see tomorrow.
Thanks.
See you,
Yeah,
Praveen.
thanks a
Bye.
lot, Chris. Take care. Bye.